Ben,
What's up?
welcome to Angels and Demons podcast.
Yes, sir.
Ben Scrogins is our guest today. So happy to have him. He is a professional poker player, and he's going to give us a good education on what it takes to be at the top. First question, Ben, is how did you get into poker? What first got you into poker?
So I was in college. Well, actually, really, we got to go way back. So my dad and my family, like cousins and everyone, we used to play cards just during like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. And that's kind of like how I learned how to, know what hands are what and kind of just the general basics of it, probably when I was like 10 years old or so. And then when I was 18 in Florida, you can play when you're 18. So we have a place here called Best Bet in Jacksonville. And when I was when I was in high school, I was able to go up there and
That's
play
pretty
cards.
cool.
And, didn't really know what I was doing that time, but that's kind of what got me into it.
But
And
you
then-
knew two pair, right?
Yeah.
That's a good start.
I knew high card. I knew a couple things, but yeah, no, I kind of played sporadically. To me, it was just like reckless gambling at the time, just like fun entertainment. Didn't really expect to make money there. And then I kind of got a little more obsessed with it in college and kind of started to learn a little bit more like how deep the strategy actually goes in it.
Was that your breakout moment?
Yeah. So in college, I think it was junior year. My buddy Ray, he just randomly hit me up one day. He was like, "Hey, you want to go down to Daytona and play this tournament?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got nothing going on this weekend, sure." So we drove down. I think we stayed at a Motel 6, and I ended up just going on the craziest run I've ever been on. Like, just most insane compiling of like luck happened. And I ended up taking it down. It was kind of funny because it was 2 weeks after I got like my first poker course, and like I really dug into it. And it was tournament poker. It was like the best course you could get at the time. This was like 2017, and it just came out. And I went through it really quickly, and I did a ton of study, and everything that I did like just worked perfectly. So
is that kind of how you study and train for it?
oh yeah, there's like tons of ways you can work on your game. So, one of the big ones is paying for content. Like it's kind of like a day trading course. Like some people might be a little more familiar with that. Like you go in, they're like, oh yeah, like look for these signals, like look for this stuff. Looking for different information that tells you what to do. The same thing can be applied in poker, and they're pretty expensive. But if you make more money, more return than it's worth, and it's always worth it, right? So,
Absolutely. Well, what's the biggest pot you've ever won?
biggest pot, man. That's a really good question. Probably like 120,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How did that make you feel?
Oh man.
Like all that studying paid off?
Yeah. That was it's pretty stressful, honestly. When you're playing a pot that big. I think that night I had bought into the game for like 5,000, and as the night kept going, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just never had that terrible luck moment where it all goes away. And I was like sure that was going to be it. I was like, all right, it ends here. Like I'm going from up like 70,000 to down 5, but no, I actually managed to hold in that one. I think I got in like 60% to win, and ended up holding.
That's incredible. So knowing this podcast is about, mental health, this playing poker seems like it's a huge mental battle,
Oh, yeah.
Like a huge mental battle in terms of like what you are guessing your opponent's going to do versus what you're actually doing. How do you find success in those moments mentally?
It's not more about the mental battle of like your opponent. It's more of like an internal mental battle. So you only have control over your own actions. It's actually very similar to golf. So, you're at a golf course, you're playing, you hit a bomb drive, you feel great, and then you just shank it into the woods, right? How do you recover from that? How do you recover from losing a big pot?
Just an extra couple beers.
Yeah, there you go. That's one way. But it's all about kind of just like reading yourself and knowing where you're at and trying to get back to that whether it's center or it's more on like the chill side or more on like the jacked up side, like whatever is optimal for you to like play your best, you got to get yourself back there because those emotional swings will throw you off.
Big time, I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super similar to golf. Like crazy similar.
We almost need to like walk away, get your space, get your mental health back in the game so that you can focus. And golf is such a mental game.
Yeah.
I mean, one day you feel like, hey, why am I not on the PGA Tour? And then the next moment you're like, what's going on? Where did everything go?
Well,
you can't even hit the ball.
Yeah, and it's like if you're going to put in all that work too, you want to be able to execute that work that you've put in at the best level you can. And if you're on tilt, you can't do that. You need, So
how long did it take you to where you felt like you had that professional skill in poker?
Probably 6 months to a year. So I won that tournament. I dropped out of college, and I was just kind of playing, and my results like instantly kind of went down. I think I got too like high on myself and like too cocky after winning a tournament that young. You're like, I think I was 20 or 21 when that happened. So
tell me about that tournament. What was that like?
It was awesome, man. It validated a lot of stuff, and I felt really good, and felt like my mental was in check. But then kind of after that, got a little off the rails. When you're 21 with $100,000 in your pocket, it's easy to go crazy.
Yes, you're going for the grand slam, not just the RBI. You want to make a difference now.
Yeah. I thought I was just going to keep steamrolling, and I ended up getting a little steamrolled myself. So, you get humbled, but those setbacks are important.
Now, when you say steamrolled yourself, like if in terms of poker, like what is an experience you can take us through where you're just very humbled through the tournament?
So, like exactly what I was just talking about. Right after winning that first tournament, 21, I was, feeling like I'm on top of the world and I'm going to go win millions of dollars. I'm going to go win the World Series of Poker this year. Like just... I got lucky, right? You have to get lucky to win in poker, but you also have to have a lot of skill. So I immediately went to Tampa like 2 weeks later, and they had this event, and I think it was like a $1,500 buy-in event. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to go fire this thing. I think I brought like 10,000 down. Well, within like 2 days, I was down $10,000. And I was just firing, trying to get
something to stick.
Yeah, just trying to get to the next day in this event. And like nothing worked. Like any 50-50 I had, I just lost. Like I'd get just screwed in so many pots. I ended up actually borrowing like $5,000 from my buddy John and then having to pay him back when we got back to Jacksonville. So, there goes like 15% of the profit.
Just to give you that mental like feeling again, that you're in the game. Like you want to get those mental skills back, and you felt like you kind of lost them at that moment.
Well, yeah, but like also like I borrowed that money to just keep going at it because I really thought I could win it. I mean, I could have won it, but like, there's also probably some tilt there where you're like, you feel like you deserve to, like, you lose 6 bets in a row. You're like, all right, this is the one, So you keep going. But, I probably should have just taken time and reset and got my head back on straight.
I kind of disagree with you. There's a golfer named Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
He's my favorite golfer.
I like Ricky.
And he went dead for a time.
Yeah.
But he stayed in the game.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
Yeah.
And now
he's looking good now.
Yeah, now everyone's putting his posters out and everything.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is staying in the game. You know this obviously in and out.
Yeah.
You live and breathe it. You're passionate about it. And that's what's brought a lot to your success. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now with that passion, what is the next step for you?
The next step's pretty hard for me because I already play pretty big events. I play pretty big cash. So kind of getting to that next level takes a lot more. I started working with a high-level coach who has like $50 million in earnings. So I'm hoping that can lead to some more success. But the next step is just I think I just kind of have to keep doing what I'm doing and try to, keep climbing the ladder as I go.
Now, when you say the word success, something that comes to my mind is, let's say you don't have the cards. What goes through your mind during a high-stakes bluff? Like, can you give me an example of something when you didn't have anything and you really wanted to win, but you won it just off a bluff?
Well, so I bluff a lot. So
that's awesome.
And so
you're a risk taker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to take risks. If you don't take risks, someone else is going to take risks on you, and it's gonna it's going to
So
bite you in
someone's
the butt.
constantly guessing. What are you thinking? What are you doing? They don't know. I mean, because you're almost playing. Would you say irrational? Like
Yeah, no,
a mix of it?
it's not irrational is not the right word because like that's what I study is like how to bluff rationally. Like you can pick specific hands that make more sense to bluff with. You can use reads. Like if you like see someone you think they're nervous, like you got to figure out why are they nervous? Are they nervous because they have a big hand or because they're bluffing you? And
Could
then,
be super excited, or maybe they just have nothing.
yeah, because I mean they're showing emotion that they're they're jacked up and maybe they're like breathing heavy. They're kind of lean forward. They're more invested than they normally look, right? So that nerve can either be because they're nervous because they have the nuts, which is the best hand they can't lose, or they're nervous because they're putting it all on the line with nothing. So that's
Now I
kind
know
of the
why they
game.
call it a poker face.
Yeah?
Because you get the best cards in hand, right?
Yeah.
But how do you keep from, I got it.
Yeah,
here
you
we
can't
go."
smile.
Like,
Yeah.
You're just like kind of like, I watched you on one of your events and you were just like, I could see, they show your cards.
Yeah.
But your face was like just so professional.
You got to be stoic. Because, like, yeah, obviously, like, I mean,
Where
for
do
me,
you go mentally? Not to interrupt, but where do
No,
you
no,
go
no.
mentally so you don't give that emotion away?
I like to breathe, just really deep breaths, and just try to like calm the heart rate and stuff, and just I just try to lock in, get in the zone. There's really no way to describe it, but if you've ever just like felt like you're firing on all cylinders, like even at work or whatever, where you're just you don't have to like think in the front of your head, it's just kind of all subconsciously happening, and it's all working. If you've ever been in that place, that's kind of where I try to get.
In the groove.
Yeah.
In that groove,
Just
and then
locked
just
in.
kind of locked in.
Yeah.
And so does that affect like your ability to succeed to the next hand? Do you find that when you're in the groove, do you find that's where your success lies?
Yes. I mean, it's funny because like sometimes when I'm like really locked in, I can almost feel like I know I'm going to win a tournament before it happens. Like if I get to a final table and I'm that locked in, sometimes I just like, I'll feel it. And there was one time I did and I got second, but still that's pretty good. And then there's been times where I don't feel as locked in and I'll get like sixth place. And it's kind of interesting. You can kind of almost feel it ahead of time.
So what are you doing now with knowing how difficult that mental battle is? What do you do now to prepare for that? If you were placed in the biggest poker event ever and for the biggest pot prize, what would you do psychologically to prepare yourself for that?
Well, I'll tell you because I just did that this summer. I think a really good thing is warming up. So we flew out to Vegas, me and a bunch of buddies. We got an Airbnb. And the second I got out there, we started getting into a routine. So I was like cooking breakfast, and I found just eating like a Chobani yogurt in the morning was like perfect because it didn't upset my stomach at all. It was enough like, protein and everything for the day.
Dude, that's so funny you say that. Like
Yeah.
Chobani yogurt, like the vanilla one, it just kind of...
Probably too much sugar. I don't do the sugar ones.
Oh, you know, zero sugar?
Yeah,
It
I don't want sugar in the morning.
It calms my stomach.
Yeah?
Like, I just feel good. Like,
Yeah.
it's just enough where you
Oh, I
feel
thought you were going
like
to say it upsets your stomach.
No, it feels like just enough where
Yeah.
you're like, I can take this day,
Yeah. It's a good start, but like also we had a pool, and Vegas in the summer, it was hot out. Go jump in the pool, get some sun on you, some vitamin D. I mean, routine is super important. Just staying calm, meditating, feeling comfortable where you're at.
You're a professional athlete. Everything you're saying is a
I'm
professional
a professional athlete
You're-
that sits down all day.
Well, I mean, you talk about a mental game. There's a lot of people
It's
that play
super mental.
professional sports that you have to be mentally and physically there.
Yeah.
Like even
Anything
in being
at the highest
in
level.
sales, I know that
Yeah.
like when I'm not in mentally there, I cannot perform at my best.
Yeah.
And not to interrupt you, so we got Chobani yogurt. Ooh, that's awesome choice. And then pool, and then what next?
Next would be, take a shower, get ready, drive to the casino, and play. And I think like I got there a week before the big event. It was a $10,000 buy-in. It's the World Series of Poker main event. So top prize is like $10
Not
million.
a single nerve.
No,
Not
you
a
can't. You
single
can't be
nerve?
nervous. You got to go in with utter confidence, but not
Okay.
cockiness.
What's the difference?
I think confidence is where you're sure that you have the ability, but you're not sure that the outcome is going to work for you, right?
Okay.
So like if you're cocky, you're like, yeah, I'm going to win this thing. I'm going to take this thing down. It's like, no, that's incredibly hard to do.
Do you think an element of that is good?
Sure, but I think it's very easy to go overboard with it, and that
And
can
you gave a
lead to
prime
disaster.
example of that in college.
Yes. Yeah. Right after I won that tournament, I was super cocky and I lost 15 G's. And
now that
humbles you.
lesson of tool belt is tucked in neatly, and now when you go into this tournament, you have that right in front of you.
Yeah. Keep calm, stay centered.
And so those 3 things, and then 4, what's the next thing you're doing?
Playing the event.
Playing the event. And what is that like when you guys all sit down at the table? Like before you even get your first cards dealt out, what are the emotions you feel?
I mean, at that point, if I'm really locked in, there's no emotion. I'm sitting here just like we're doing right now talking. There's just nothing.
How do you do that?
I really think it's just years of practice. That's one. And then also just having confidence in yourself and knowing your routine. Like if you're a stud basketball player, you know, if you're Michael Jordan in the 80s.
Your identity.
Yeah,
strong.
well, you also know, like, going into it, like, I'm going to win. You know, like, I'm better than everyone. Maybe you don't win. Maybe you get unlucky. But if you just know that you're better than people, there's nothing to worry about.
Wow. So here you are sitting around. You're at the biggest, quote, tournament. And here you are. The cards haven't been dealt. Now the cards start coming out. What do you want? What are you looking for?
So the thing about that event is I think it's like 12 days of play. So it's super long. So I know off the bat, like, there's nothing I really want. All I want is to play the best poker I can. The cards happen. I can't control it. All I can control is how I play. So that's realistically all I want. Now, it would be nice to just steamroll everyone and get the most insane luck. But to get that for 12 days straight is almost impossible. So it doesn't really matter. Day 1, day 2, day 3. It really, like,
are those conservative days? Like, are you not going more aggressive? Are you more low key when you give that analogy? Or are you more going all in on certain hands? How do you be flexible during those first few days?
I mean, you don't have to play them conservative. A lot of people take that strategy because a lot of people, you know, it's a huge event. You want to, you know, get to the guaranteed money and then take more risk. But for me, I just play normal. There's no, you know, difference based on the day. I'm trying to, you know, accumulate chips slowly or quickly, depending on how my cards are coming and how good my table is. Sometimes you get a table that's full of, you know, worse players. Sometimes you get sat down and you're the worst player at the table. And if that was the case on day 1 of the main event, I would be super conservative because I know day 2, I'm going to get a different table.
Isn't that interesting that with poker, it's not so much the cards you're dealt as the skilled player you are?
Yeah, well, it's both, but it has a lot to do with skill. A good way to put it that someone has said is poker is all luck in the short run. So we play one hand, it's all luck. But in the long run, it's all skill.
Wow, I would need all the luck. I would need all the luck. So you're at this main event, let's say the biggest event now for poker.
Yeah.
You're at it. And the cards now are being dealt. What do you want to see that would make you feel so confident that you're going to win that match, that every light goes off in your head, the lessons you learned in college, that everything that you've worked so hard to this point, you're at a climactic point, and now you're at that table. What 2 cards do you want?
I mean, you want to see aces always, but, you know, you can't get aces every hand.
Let's say you get an ace and...
Like a king, maybe?
King.
Yeah, that's a great hand.
Okay.
I like that. I'm happy. Ace and a deuce? Not that good. But it's not that. It's not even like one specific hand I want to see. I always want to see a good hand. But it's more so just how it runs out and just how it goes throughout the course of the days. Really, it's less about seeing a good hand and seeing a good table.
Do you like to talk to people at the table?
Yeah, I do. I think it kind of humanizes you and it opens people up to liking you more. And sometimes people kind of like soft play you, so they'll take it easy on you because they like you or something.
Can you almost team up? Like, let's say how many would typically be in a tournament on one table?
This one, there was like 9,000 people in the tournament, but you'd have 9 people at a table.
Do any people team up on the table to eliminate? Let's say you're talking socially.
So that is an interesting thing because yes and no. It's against the rules to do that, but there are certain, that's called collusion, where 2 players are, you know, teaming up to like beat someone else. But there is something called soft collusion, where let's say there's 10 people left in a tournament. We're all at the same table, and 9 people get paid, right? Now, this guy has no chips. He goes all in. I've got an okay hand. I don't normally want to call, but I'm going to call anyways. And the guy behind me, he might have aces, but instead of squeezing me out, he's just going to call too. because he wants to get to ninth place. So that's a form of soft collusion where it's kind of
that's cool.
Yeah, that's okay, but
would you say that's essential for survival?
No, not necessarily, because you have to be the one to take the risk at the end of the day. But it is definitely a component of the game.
So conversation at the table is definitely something that you encourage.
Yeah,
for someone looking
absolutely.
to be a professional poker player, you want to be able to socially know everyone at the table and get to know who your opponents are.
I mean, it's also just good for the health of the game too, because people that go there that aren't professionals or just there having fun. How much fun is it to sit down with a bunch of guys that have their headphones and they're just sitting there, just on their phone, not talking? It's way more fun when you have a group of guys that are all there telling jokes, screwing around, maybe have a couple beers, make it enjoyable for the guys that are not professionals.
So, what does a normal day in between these tournaments look like for you?
I mean, lately it's just been kind of killing time. I like to play video games, study, work with my coach every now and then, but the schedule's starting to ramp up for me again. We have the WPT coming to Jacksonville next month, so I've been working on that, getting ready for that.
That's your best bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So WPT is the World Poker Tour. So there's the World Series of Poker, and then there's the World Poker Tour.
Okay.
So they're kind of neck and neck with each other right now. They have huge competing events. And yeah,
Can you explain to our audience just a little bit about what the difference of those two are, just so they know?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no difference. It's the same. That's just an organization that runs events. They'll run all the same games, same tournaments and stuff, or maybe like different prize pools or buy-ins. But it's just two event organizers that put on a huge tournament series. And there's also smaller organizers too. There's like HPT, there's MSPT, EPT. There's like all these different like kind of branches of these poker organizers.
What is the time frame those would run typically? Like, let's say you're about to start one. How long will that go, depending on your time frame? Let's say you're good, and what do you expect out of yourself to go how far?
And what
in terms of like when the tournament starts, where do you, to be successful, where do you want to end up in that tournament? Like, how far along? Like, does it go over like a month or 2 months, or how long would the tournament go for?
Oh no, tournaments typically go for like 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. So like, yeah, I mean, to judge success, like I like, top 10% is really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually you get paid at 12.5 or 15%. It all depends. Sometimes it's 10%. And that'll actually make like your payout bigger. If it's like less people get paid, there's more money in the pot for people to win. So
damn, that's really hard. 10%.
10%'s tough, yeah. Yeah. So technically, if you don't have an edge, nine out of 10 times you're throwing $1,000 on fire. So
how do you not get nervous for that?
I mean, it is what it is.
You just mentally, like you said, go through the routine, get yourself.
Also, like it helps when you you win one event or whatever, because then you have 100 buy-ins to throw at the next one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have more confidence going into the next round.
Yeah.
Plus, you have more ammunition.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The money is like the biggest thing. That's kind of the judge of how. And that's like going back to your question about nervousness. If you have, we call it bankroll. So, like you like to sports bet. So
Absolutely.
if you have $1 million, you're not going to put $500K on the Jags this week. That's ridiculous. You're going to do, a smart bet if you think you have an edge, but your edge is only like 1%. You're not going to put it on the line. Nothing is sure. So you take small amounts of your roll, and you'll play those and just keep pushing those small edges as you build it gradually.
So on CNN, sometimes you see like these poker players play.
Yeah, sure.
Is that something that you have been on? Have you been on like any of those tournaments on ESPN or something like that?
I've never been on ESPN, but I've been on some of the smaller ones, like any of the final tables. Sometimes they like live stream it, or there was one. The first tournament I won actually was on TV. They had their own channel, but it was only on I think like DirecTV or something. So a bit smaller, but no, never ESPN. ESPN's only ever really the big one, and it's only the final 9 players. So it's really hard to get there.
Is that your ultimate goal?
Oh yeah, that's everyone's dream. That's everyone's dream in poker.
And what is that called? The world? That's
the World Series of Poker main event final table.
You're gonna get there, man.
I almost did.
I can tell in your face and your eyes that you are set on that goal. You're gonna get that.
I want it, man.
So what needs to be done for you to be able to be in that place?
Well, long term it's all skill, but for one tournament, it's luck. So to get there, you do need a lot of luck. But
so these upcoming tournaments that you're going into, how significant are they for you pointing in that direction?
I mean, they're significant. Every win matters. You know, you can't keep losing and sustain that lifestyle. So.
And you're a winner. I mean, I saw your resume. I mean, you win. I mean, you're not. You are in the 10% the majority of the time.
Just gassing me up, huh?
No, I'm here. Here you go. Here, read it off. I mean, I printed it off. I was like, look at it. Here you are. So you're like, look at this. Here, there you go. So you're
that's
in.
it.
So
there it is.
Is that gaslighting or is that facts?
No. These are facts.
Look at that, facts. So you know what's really cool is to know when you are mentally in the game, and I think that is something that's so important with mental health. When you're not in the game, we can all do stupid shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you were talking about in college, and I mean, I've even done some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this podcast is it doesn't matter if you do stupid shit. This is a safe place, you know?
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, no matter what you've done, you're not alone. Everyone else puts their pants on the same way.
Yeah.
But what's cool about you is you're focused. I can sense it in you. You're determined, and your eyes are set on the GOAT. You're going to be the Tom Brady of poker.
Got a long way to go.
Why do you laugh? Tell me why. You just gave me a clear routine of why it is.
It's totally possible.
What's in your way?
Nothing. There's nothing in my way. But there's already GOATs, and they are continuing to push further and further. So I have to increase my pace if I want to do that. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of luck, a lot of work, but it's definitely possible. Anyone can do it.
So how many more tournaments do you need to win to qualify for the one that you want to be in?
Oh, you don't have to qualify. You could buy into the one I want to be in right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
anyone can do it.
What would be the estimated cost of that?
It's $10,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident if you had that right now you could deliver?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, I think that you mentally are like sharp. Like, I mean, if you have you can deliver a routine of what you do during the day, of how to get your mind sharp for that moment. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then you know how to collaborate socially with the table. No wonder you have a resume like this. Is because you put in the work to exercise. You've made the mistakes. You have to make the mistakes to learn,
You absolutely do.
And so you've made those, so now you are what I would call a wise poker player, right? Would you say there's such thing as a wise poker player?
Absolutely.
So a wise poker player is they take all their chips and they put them right in the middle at the first hand.
Yeah. Yeah, do that.
And see what your luck is. You ever done it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what does that feel like?
Oh, it's usually, if I'm doing that, it's not a game that's like significant. I'm not going to do it for a lot of money, but sometimes like me and a couple of buddies, we used to play what we call drunk 1-2. So we go to the poker room, we play the smallest stakes we could and just get hammered and just all in, just screwing around.
Tell me you don't just stand up and scream. Yeah. They're like, out, get out.
And it's really funny because people will see it and they'll come to our table expecting a free walk in the park. And then we're also really good poker players. So we'll just turn it on. We find those guys trying to leech.
That is hilarious.
And just destroy them.
Just milk it. You're like, here, take it. That's hilarious, man. Well, you know what? It seems to me like, in terms of like, so here's a stack of chips. When you go to buy in, give us an example of how your money, if you buy in at 10,000, how much in chips do you get?
You get 10,000 in chips, but it'll be like different denominations. So you have like, a 25-cent chip here. So let's say this is like, a $25 chip. You'd have a couple stacks of that. So these are 20 stacks right here. So this is like the standard in poker of how you kind of measure how much money you have. So it's easier for like other people to, see it too. It's kind of like an etiquette thing. Like you want to be able to know how much other people have. So
for an example, here's a deck of cards. Okay. I'm going to deal.
Yeah.
Deal you 2 cards. Okay. 2 cards. We'll do like 5 face up.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll do 3. All right. So go for it.
Okay. So I would, I'd bet this. Let's say we're playing like $20 right now. I'd probably bet like.
Oh, here, give me my money.
Yeah, here.
Let's make this fair. You got more chips than I do, bro. There we go.
Here, take 20.
Hey, God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm rich.
I'd probably bet $1 here.
Okay.
Just trying to build the pot up.
Okay.
Okay, and then another card. So we got a jack. I'd probably check here. See what you do.
I'm gonna go up 50.
Okay. I'm gonna go all in.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on too.
Oh no.
All right. So
I'm
now
bluffing.
Final card.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a 6. That's not a 6. I've got 4. I've got 4 high. You win.
Queen.
Yeah.
So you know what? Yeah, the thing is, I knew nothing about poker, but you just showed me a lot. We both play very similarly.
Yeah.
We swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And so knowing Mr. Ben Scrogins, you swing for the fences, you're gonna win.
Thanks.
And when you win that big tournament, everyone in the world's going to know your name. Everyone in the world is going to know you're the best poker player around. Because you know what you just did? That's how you win. In my eyes, if you don't take risk, then how can you win?
Absolutely.
How can you win if you don't take risk?
You can't. I mean, you can small win, but you're never going to be the best in the world if you're not taking that chance to be it.
Pump 5, $20.
What?
Pump 5, $20.
Pump
Walk into a
5,
gas station. Pump 5, $20.
Oh, pump 5, 20.
Okay. I'm just saying, there's a vision here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that one. Pump 5, $20. It didn't work. Squeeze the handle harder. Don't make me come out.
I thought that was sports betting lingo or something.
It's just gas station talk.
Yeah.
I mean, but the cool thing is, man, you got like a set of skills. Don't back off on that.
Yeah,
you got a gift.
Of course.
You got a gift. And you know what? Just the fact that we can just have some fun and go all in, and it's so mental. And the reason that I'm so happy to have you on the show, because every day, mental health is exactly what you said. You prepare yourself each day for something that you're doing. And each day for mental health, you have to prepare, no matter what it is, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's reading the scriptures, whether it's whatever you do that puts you in a healthy mindset so you can deliver to the best you can as an individual.
Absolutely.
And you're studying so that you can, when you get to the next event, create a resume bigger and deeper than that.
Yeah.
What's cooler than that?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you give to our listeners that are fighting with just having that ability to have that mental confidence? What advice would you give them to be able to be mentally healthy?
Mental confidence specifically, I think it's just being prepared. If you're not ready to do your job, then how can you go in with confidence? And that kind of comes down to a lot of other things like stress and anxiety. Just be prepared for what you need to do, whatever it is, and confidence will come with that. And, be sure of it. The more you prepare, the more confident you'll be in what you do. The more you practice, you want to be a pro golfer, you're not confident, go work harder. Go hit the range, shoot hoops, whatever it is,
Yeah, I was just at Topgolf the other day. Just
Love
to add to that,
Topgolf.
Yeah, we got to go, man. And you know what? I everyone when I was hitting, they were going, wow, and I told them it's my first time at Topgolf. They're like, how do you do that? And
beginner's
I'm like,
luck,
well,
just
I'll
like
tell
in
you-
poker, just like in poker.
I was like, well, what I do is to be honest with you, I look at the ball and I whack it as hard as I can. And they were like, that's incredible.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. It's a lot easier when there's no expectations for yourself, right?
That's a really good point.
You're not expecting to hit the ball straight, so you're nice and calm. You just go up there, you just hit the thing and go straight. Wow.
So for our listeners, I think that's the best advice we've had on the show. The best advice is, prepare each day when you wake up.
Yes.
Don't expect your day just to be mentally healthy. Do the things. Go to the gym. Take your walk. Go to the beach. Whatever it is. Eat the Chobani yogurt. Whatever it might be. Dip in the pool. But allow yourself some preparation.
Yeah,
Because without preparation, how are you supposed to be mentally healthy?
And setting realistic expectations is great, too. Everyone says shoot for the moon, but if you're constantly disappointing yourself, then, that's just setting you up for negativity,
Absolutely. I had something that just like this morning, I read something and it just pissed me the fuck off. I was upset.
Yeah.
But I had beforehand, I read something, I listened to something, and it calmed me down.
Yeah.
My nerves down so that I was prepared. And I think that you've brought something to this podcast that nobody has ever done. They've walked us through what you need to do to the day to be mentally healthy is prepare.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're walking into that day. You might walk
No.
into the most disappointing thing that you've ever wanted. Maybe you've waited for years
You
for
also
some
might
dream.
you also might have the biggest opportunity of your life. What if you're not ready for it? What if you blow it? How bad would you feel then?
Or
so be ready for
you
it.
get to the tournament that you want to play and somehow the building catches on fire and burns down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden here you are at your dream and then all of a sudden it's gone.
How do you pick yourself up?
How do you pick yourself up? What are your go-tos to picking yourself up in your lowest point?
That's a really good question. I think personally, I like taking breaks. Lately, I haven't had to do it as much. Like if I have like a really bad stretch, I'll just take a week off or whatever. Just it's good. I think it's really good to get a reset. Not everyone can do that. So just having an escape, I think, is really important though. Just something to take your mind off of whatever is causing you disruption in your life or reality or whatever. Just get away from it. Come back to it with a fresh set of eyes, fresh mind, and start tackling your problems one by one.
That is such a good example.
Yeah.
When the craps table isn't working, go to the roulette table. Go to the
Exactly,
blackjack
yeah.
table. Just see what it does.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll
Maybe
break it
double
up
your
there.
bet. You're
double
due.
your bet.
You're due.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Mr. Ben, I can't thank you so
Yeah,
much
of
for
course,
coming on this
of course.
podcast and just you as a professional poker player giving our listeners hope and giving them reasons to know that preparation for your mental health is the key to staying mentally healthy. We don't want more school shootings. We
No.
both agree on that.
Of course.
But we don't want to turn on Fox News and see another school getting shot up.
No.
Are you tired of that?
Yeah, extremely.
It's like getting annoying at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and tired of just seeing insanity,
Yeah.
insanity. Like Charlie Kirk, like,
God bless.
dude,
Rest in
I
peace.
saw that and I was like, this world is fucked up.
That hurt me when I saw it. I wish I hadn't seen it. That was awful. Just pure evil, just riding through that. But, everything happens for a reason. I really hope good will come out of it. And I think it is. I think the revolution of, people getting riled up and being sick of all this violence is going to come of it. I see it. I see it's a turning point. It actually is a turning point.
And I'm doing what you're saying. I'm preparing and doing that. But
Yeah, I have been too.
When I woke up and saw the news that Charlie Kirk died,
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that.
No, me neither. That was tough.
That man did what no man does.
I know.
Nobody has the balls nowadays to be a man.
Yeah.
And he went to the most difficult places, the difficult conversations that nobody wants to have to fight for America.
Yeah.
And he had nothing to gain for it,
No.
but to give to others.
You know who did that too is Jesus. He went to hell before he rose. Fought the devil.
There's hope.
There is. There's always.
And I believe that what you said, like all things are purpose. There's a purpose for it, but I'm still wrestling. I wake up with a little bit of anger because I'm like, did I do like this podcast? I want to do what Charlie did. He has Charlie Kirk's podcast. He started Turning Point USA. And he did that because people believed that his platform could change lives and make a difference.
Absolutely.
And I think that the greatest blessing that we can do and the greatest gift that we can give passing forward, and it's through poker, is do something good for America. Be mentally prepared so that when we wake up, we can handle difficult moments like that.
Yeah.
Because that news, I'm telling you what, it took me down. Because it took everything that I am and my identity is to make America great again.
Yeah.
I want there to be an element of the Christianity. The Bible speaks the truth, and then through that, there is a wholesome in our country. And there's so much brokenness and recklessness because there's no identity. There's nothing for it to be backed off of. So I think to end this, and I know I keep saying this and going at it, but to end this, like, what is something that you would give listeners from your experience playing poker, which is a very mentally challenging game, to stay in the game, what is the most important thing?
Stay in it.
And keep fighting.
Keep fighting. Again, preparedness is really important. Charlie was incredibly prepared for every topic he had to discuss. I don't think he ever went into it with any stress that he was, going to be at, losing a debate or whatever it is, because he prepared. He knew what he was going into. I really do think that solves a lot of your problems in life, is just being ready for what's to come. And, you can't always be ready, but, being able to adapt and, just take those opportunities is extremely important.
100%. Because with mental health, you don't need to get a gun and pull the trigger and kill someone.
No.
Charlie taught us all that you can have different views about stuff and it be okay.
Yeah.
You and I can disagree about something, but I don't need to get my 45 and blow your brain out because you say something I disagree with. And I think that is so important. Let's not lose that, where we can disagree and still be friends. We can disagree and still be mentally healthy.
Politics has gotten so ugly lately. It really sucks to see it. You just can't have civil conversations with people anymore. And it's wild because, it only took maybe 10, 20 years for that all to happen. I remember as a kid, people would discuss politics freely and openly, and there was no issues. But now it's gotten too ugly. I don't know.
Thousands and thousands of buckets of fake, ballots, and then you got all this crazy. Donald Trump's ear getting hit by a bullet.
I really think it's the internet. Honestly, I think the ugliness of each side is so personified, and that's what gets pushed, and not the 99% of people that all agree on mostly the same stuff and are rational people. Their voices don't really get heard, but you see the crazies, and it puts people against each other. Because you think, wow, that's what they think? They really think that? Oh, what a Nazi, Or like, oh, what a communist.
And it actually causes more division. More division.
It's so bad. And people just got to realize, like, we're all, fighting the same battles and we're all on the same page. And not to let that craziness, triumph.
That's a really good point. And I think that's something to leave with them is, like, do not let the craziness triumph. Get grounded, be prepared.
And talk to people.
Because
you probably agree with 99% of your enemy.
100%.
Yeah. It's just the 1% that makes you hate everybody.
100%. 100%. I can't thank you enough for giving. You have given a wealth of just information and knowledge for people to stay mentally healthy. And that's what Angels and Demons podcast is about, is a safe place for people to come to share their experiences, their challenges. Like, that was very personal, you sharing about your college story, And an example, a live example of what you did to, you took a risk. And that's wealth, because that's knowledge. That's something that you will forever know. And now nobody can take that from you.
Yeah.
And so for our listeners, what Mr. Ben shared is do everything you can daily to be prepared. So for that next day, you can be the best version of yourself. The best version, mental, just as physical. You can be as strong as can be. But just like Kobe Bryant said, you have to be mentally healthy. And so we encourage you both to just take the steps needed that you need to be mentally healthy. Mr. Ben, Scrogins, what an honor to have you on. Performer and still poker player, professional poker player that's going to win I know it. Listen, we're going to come back here when you win the biggest poker tournament, and we're going to sit right here. Deal?
I'll be back. Yeah, deal. Let's shake on it.
Shake on it. Okay, so the audience knows. Listen, you better subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, you're going to lose out on seeing the biggest poker champion of your life. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next podcast. Thank you very much.